Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Lorelai. So in the last episode we went through an entire chapter very quickly and it's starting to speed up, so I've literally am recording almost back to back with only a small break, whereas every recording up until this point it's been at least several hours between each recording. So we're going in the right direction. Now, it might also be a case, since it has taken so long to get to this point where it feels like we're actually playing a video game, um, that this might just be a really, really long game. And since it is so focused around telling a story, the story here might just be really, really long, which puts you in a weird position, certainly, in that Downfall, the chronologically released game, um, the first game was relatively long, and then the cat lady was relatively long, and then Lorelai might be just like 3 or 4 times as long as the cat lady. Uh, More focused, we've met the Queen of Maggots. She's apparently not Lorelai right now. She's brought us back to life, and now we get to stop the father and stepfather from uh, drowning your sister. Hold left. So we're just gonna straight up kill him and then hit. And then A, interesting double prompts there to catch the baby so it doesn't fall to the ground and hit its head again. Now, stabbing someone in the back with a pocket knife is by far no way to guarantee that somebody's actually gonna be dead. But here we have Jake, and he's still alive, so he did just get hit in the head. What we don't accomplish here is bringing back the mother who killed herself, and frankly, her killing herself kind of implies that she would just do it again, even if you could bring her back to life. Is this Jake's room? It's way nicely decorated. So, what do you do now? That's the question. There's a lot of like posters in Jake's room, a marijuana leaf, a keyboard to match Lorelai's uh, guitar. Interesting. His room is also better lit. Also, if you look in his room, the plaster is not cracked. The ceiling, maybe for the UK being kind of moldy, is about normal, but this is a much better maintained apartment flat, which in the same building, that's kind of questionable, but not super questionable. You could easily have had a good apartment and then torn it to shreds, or one apartment could have gotten remodeled while the others aren't. Landlords can be crazy. So now we have to decide between I give up, let's call the police. You can't even call the police. They'll just take Bethany and put her into foster care. So we've literally just damned our soul, probably making a deal with the Queen of Maggots and to save her. So now are we going to act selfish and try and keep her together with you, who just came back to life and could probably die at any point? Or let's take a step back here. Let's assume that we hadn't played Downfall of the Cat Lady and this is the first game. It would be very believable that you would potentially just assume that Lorelai is crazy. And should a crazy 18-year-old or thereabout kid be the one in charge of taking care of a little baby? No. Speaking of Downfall, by the way, right there in the center of the screen is the cover for the game Downfall, to the lower right of the Dr. Cyclops poster. I don't see a cat lady uh, poster anywhere, but I do see a I want to believe poster. So, yeah. I think the rule here is sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. Do what is best for the sister. It doesn't matter probably what I pick anyways, because I'm sure Jake is going to stop us.
I give up. Let's call the police. Can I borrow your phone, Zach?
You sure you want to do this?
Interesting that Zach is
Just give it to me.
willing to do
Please.
that. Now, there was a whole sequence in the cat lady where you called the police. 112 is, I guess, not the 911.
Police emergency line, how can I help you?
So you call the police for help in the cat lady, and they totally ignore you and just think you're crazy, and they won't send help. Apparently, in this case, that's not it.
That's done. I guess now we wait.
Let's see. This is a cool place. What do you actually do? If you're calling the police, probably would be a good time to say, Zach, go hide your... If you've got anything here you don't want the police to see, you probably should hide it now with the marijuana leaf. But let's show concern for him at least.
How's your head, Zach?
It's alright, I think.
Yeah, you
It was
probably
just a little bump, really.
want to...
And my glorious hat took most of the impact, too.
You want to try and not involve
You
him
saved us
anymore.
back there.
Me?
Particularly since he's the one that's going to go down for
Oh,
murder.
shut up.
If they
You
want
did.
to.
If it wasn't for you, we'd all be dead now.
Let's just agree it was a team effort.
Except, you really had no business in helping me.
Well, maybe I did.
Yeah, Lorelai should really try to take the blame here. Or maybe they both take the blame. But then they might both go down because I wouldn't be surprised if Lorelai said she killed the stepfather and Zach said he killed the stepfather by pushing him into the toilet. Then they're going to say, oh, this is clearly a Romeo and Juliet scenario where they conspired and plotted to kill him at the very beginning, and they probably killed the mother too. So let's just inquire, I guess, is what we want to know is about Zach. Instead of just, well, it's probably not whining to say, why is everything in life gotta be so hard? Yeah, they probably, at least temporarily, will take Bethany from her. She literally, as the story has been told, has worked for one day. Like, there's no way they couldn't take her from her. She has no consistent employment history. She has no money saved up. She has no means. She doesn't even have that apartment, frankly, that she lives in.
This is a cool place. What do you actually do?
Oh, I make video games.
Well, I
Really?
guess Zach is
That's awesome.
a self-insert
Well,
character.
They're pretty shit, to be honest.
Oh,
They
so
can't be that bad.
Zach is the creator of this
People
game.
are buying them, right?
Some people enjoy them, that's true. But I'm hardly Hideo Kojima.
These references,
Well,
though.
I don't know who this Heidi Kojima is, but I'm sure one day you'll make a great, successful game.
Interesting.
You reckon?
Interesting
Well, of
thought to
course.
insert your own
As long as you
character.
put your heart and soul into it.
In my experience, the heart and soul means nothing without $1 million spent on advertising.
That is probably
Maybe
true. The
you're
cat
only
lady is
saying
not
that
well
because your heart's
known.
been somewhere else.
I wonder where.
Like, there's such a reverence for music and storytelling in this game. It does really spit in the face of the creator of this game to be a normal quote-unquote game developer, because you see normal game developers and they're all about the flashy action, and they're all about gameplay mechanics and loops. And then even when you have like a AAA game, more often than not, something like the Tomb Raider reboots, it's just bland, standard. Let's just copy other people's ideas of gameplay mechanics, and then the actual story in the like Tomb Raider series, well, not terrible, is not amazing, and Lara Croft is not written particularly well, so that she's a more interesting character at the end of the reboot trilogy than she was at the beginning. So, but I would argue that doesn't mean his heart was in a different place. I just think it means, in a funny way, the creator of this trilogy is a more well-rounded artist and person than your average video game developer who spends 60 hours a week developing and programming and only talks to other video game creators and maybe video game critics, and they lock themselves into this small microverse of a bigger universe as far as interactions, perceptions, and stories you gain things. That's why when you see something like BioShock, how is that a unique story? It was a unique story because the creator of the BioShock series took some time to step out of his micro universe and read Ayn Rand books. Now, he probably got the wrong message from them, in my opinion, but at least he read something that most people weren't reading, and that's how you could tell a slightly different story. What games did you make? Let's just continue going down this path of talking to him. This is literally probably the only date you're going to get to have with him.
What games did you make? I mean, I admit I don't know much about it. My dad had a console, and we used to play together back in the day.
You've probably never heard of them. There's thousands of indie games out there these days.
Yeah, there's been
Oh,
quite
come
the
on.
indie
I wanna
boom.
know. What was the first one about?
It's called The Dog Gentleman.
The Dog
Okay.
Gentleman.
It's about this chap who really loves his dog, but it gets kidnapped by cats.
John Wick. Interesting. Wow. So they're gonna just have us straight up play the games. It says press start, but I pressed start and it paused. Should have said press A. Okay. This looks like a decent first attempt. Alright. So
Who do you fight?
Oh, it's mostly all sorts of zombie cats.
what is
But luckily, your leash attacks are powerful enough to cut them in half.
the first game that the creator of this trilogy made was not the cat lady, but Downfall, but okay. I guess in this case, the dog gentleman, opposite of that would be the cat lady. There's a button, sound effect, that when you press A, but you have to hold the A button down. Interesting.
Sounds cool, man.
Let's go with this.
What other games did you make?
Oh, you want to hear more? Okay. 2 years ago, I made this odd little thing called Ice Cube Battles. I wanted to tap into that stupid everyday object simulator craze.
You made a game about ice cubes.
And they fight until they melt.
I'm just trying to imagine it.
I have no idea what this reference would be. Fire circle.
Sounds kinda silly to me.
It's only 99 cents. I mean, sure, it might not be the best game ever, but
I guess I'd have to look at his
Actually-
portfolio.
yeah, it sucks balls, really. Not too proud of that one.
Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some other indie games he's put on itch.io or some site like that and not put them on Steam. Which, ideally, that is the level of engagement I want as a PC gamer, is that I would like to see the cream of the crop be on Steam and have a lot less of the awful, low effort indie games that nowadays get put on Steam. So I wouldn't be upset if I found out that my favorite game creator had made 100 games, but only 20 of them were good, and those were the 20 that were available on Steam.
What other games did you make?
Well, after The Dog Gentleman, I felt like I needed to make something short and snappy to generate some cash. Because, for whatever reason, only 5 people bought it.
I don't think that's
So
exactly
I made The
true.
Herring Strangler, a game where you're herring and you escape from a fishmonger to jump back into the sea.
And how did that go down?
It did not make it into the featured section. Let's just say that.
Hmm.
But at least I learned games about fish do not sell.
And see, I don't know what games he's really talking about. Let me just... Let's take a moment here. And I'm just gonna open up a Wikipedia article about the cat lady and look at every game that the creator made from that. And that way... Oh, the cat lady apparently was a remake. And they don't call it the Cat Lady Trilogy, they call it the Devil Came Through Here Trilogy. Which, yeah, the Cat Lady and then Downfall was the remake of the original. So, alright, let's see now. I guess. Harvester Games or let's see. He's a Polish game developer, which is kind of funny to have the whole thing. Have the whole thing set in the UK. He was the creator of the original Downfall, aka Downfall, a horror adventure game, The Cat Lady, and Downfall 26. All of those were made in the Adventure Game Studio engine. He did that. He made Lorelai in Unity. He did live in the UK for 13 years. But I am having a very hard time getting any listings here of what games they would have made otherwise. Yeah, there's... Which, inherently, that could be a couple of things. It could be that these are made-up games. Or it could be that these are such small indie games that are getting mentioned. Or these are parodies of small indie games that he made. That they didn't get any coverage at all. Which... there is definitely some truth to that there are a lot of indie games out there, particularly since Flash games have basically died since Flash Support has ended.
What other games did you make?
I don't want to bore you.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't have asked if I wasn't interested.
Fair enough. Well, I once tried to make something deeper. Something meaningful.
There was a game that
And that's how Cadaver's Blood came to be.
Uh,
Except the more I worked on
Screen
it, the
7
more it became a first-person
Screen
zombie
7
shooter.
released a
These
game
are at
called
least
Mr.
popular, right?
Maze that
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
didn't
It
really
might have
look
got
that good.
overwhelmingly negative reviews, but still. 10,000 copies sold in the first week. In my book, that's a job well done.
Hmm.
What other games did you make?
These almost
I
feel
actually made
like
this great game once.
these are just
pretty fantastic.
commentaries on indie games
You
in
wake up
general.
on an island, and you're all naked, except for a rock and a torch.
That's not a game he
There's other
made.
players that try to kill you and steal your shit too. And as you go on exploring and gathering resources, you learn how to survive, build bases, craft stuff, that sort of thing. But just as I was about to release it, some other guys stole my idea and beat me to it.
Aw, what a shame.
So, yeah, there's
If it wasn't for that, Dust would have been the greatest game I ever made.
so he's saying that he had the idea for the game Rust, which I don't know if this is true or if this is just a joke. I think it's probably just a joke. Also, at a certain level, the idea of a survival game like Rust was stolen clearly from Minecraft, which is a much older game, and survival games are just the generic concepts around RPGs.
What other games did you make?
I've rumbled on enough. I'm sure
So-
you've had enough listening about it.
Maybe you get an achievement for doing all of that. I think it's probably going to force us to pick maybe both of these choices. Let's see. So, should we be concerned about Bethany or concerned about herself? I think we should be concerned about Bethany. Now, in this statement, it's like, what if they take Bethany from me? But this statement also feels like it's just a self-absorbed option. So let's at least mention Bethany in a sense.
What if they take Bethany from me?
We won't let that happen. You're her sister. And you're an adult, aren't you?
Only just.
It's still pretty obvious that she'd be better off in your care.
Depends if
I
the
mean,
cops want to
she's got
say
no one else left in the
that
world,
these
has
two
she?
planned to murder him. Let's see. So we're gonna put that on him. Actually, no, we have you. Or no, and neither do I. Let's include him. He just literally murdered somebody for you.
Actually, no. We have you. Thank you, Zach.
It's... okay. For you, I'd...
It'd be funny if it turned out Zach is kind of crazy.
Yeah?
I just think you deserve better. That's all.
Why are you being so nice to me, Zach? Why is everything gotta be so hard? Seems like we're gonna have to pick that choice eventually, but I'm avoiding it.
Why are you being so nice to me, Zach? 'Cause, you know, everyone else seems to be a twat lately. You could have said no when I came asking for help, but you didn't. Why?
If there was gonna be a good character in this series,
If a lifetime of playing video games teaches you one thing,
he probably would
it's that the
represent
hero
it.
always rescues the princess.
I wouldn't be
That's not the only
surprised
reason,
if
though.
there is
Is it?
some character like the Queen of Maggots, maybe
Oh,
good,
man.
that brought Zack back to life too.
I don't know.
And then you kind of have a quantum leap, like evil
Zack,
leaper
no.
versus good leaper
You do.
scenario, which that's a terrible reference. Nobody's going to remember. But
Do you really want me to
Like-
say it?
Lorelai could be working on behalf of the bad guy and being forced into it, whereas Zach might be willingly working for the good guy. That would be a pretty interesting twist. Zach. Say it, Zach. I don't know why we have to force Zach to say he likes her. Like, if he's not comfortable, why don't you profess your like of him? It's not that hard of a word to say, but I can see why people would get embarrassed.
It's alright, Zach. I like you too.
And then babies immediately can detect the possibility of any romance and will try
Can you
and
not
destroy
smell
it.
Jesus. Did they feed you that stinking curry for dinner too?
And see, it's zoomed in now.
Yep.
You can see the downfall
Code
logo a
brown
little bit
situation.
better.
And I'm guessing you don't have any clean nappies in your flat anywhere.
Sorry.
I don't know what the
I stopped using them a long time ago.
picture on the left
Fuck.
of the downfall is.
What do we do?
Well,
All these posters.
I can't get them from my flat. Because I really don't want to go back there. We'll have to improvise. We need to clean her up and change her nappy.
Sounds tricky.
Look, I've watched a bunch of old women today. How hard can it be with a baby?
Well, I don't know. I'm a total noob with babies, remember?
This is
Do you
definitely
have anything here I
going
can use?
back
Other
with
than my
that
beanie hat?
theme of
Nope, I don't
having
think so.
the horror
Your beanie hat.
be
This could totally
focused
work.
around living your life and staying
No.
alive and
It's a limited edition
having-
Breaking Bad beanie.
having an experience of
You're gonna
life.
say no to a baby?
Fine.
He's got any collection of.
Right. It'll work. I just need to make some
This would be funny if
adjustments.
he turns around and you see a
Mind
big
watching her while I have
hole
a
in
look
his
around?
head.
No, go ahead.
There's any number of pieces of clothing he should have that would also
It's Zach's bedroom door.
work as a potential right, so like potential makeshift diaper.
This place is like a mirror reflection of our flat.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess it is.
Boys' bathroom. I'm not expecting much.
They've got
No
toilet.
toilet paper. Boys will be boys, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't expect boys to not have toilet paper.
This is where Zach keeps his toiletries.
So how much of this is snooping and how much of this is looking for things? There's a lot of bright red things, but I think it's just designs. Not seeing
Yes.
blood.
I think I will need a pair of scissors.
And they just have a shower and much smaller bathroom.
This place is like a mirror reflection of our flat.
Everything is just super dark.
I can get to the front door this way.
And I used an area and it took forever to load. So is this just a couple of
It's Zach's front door.
is this a couple of guys living together?
This room belongs to Zach's flatmate. I'm pretty sure he's out right now.
So this should lead to a kitchen. And so you can see the plaster is peeling a little bit and it's still really dark. But
This looks like it could absorb liquid really well. I remember TV ads for this stuff. Apparently it can absorb insane amounts of liquid.
yeah, they put a chemical of sorts inside diapers to absorb liquid.
Someone's been playing with fridge magnets.
Does that say red room? Says Lorelai.
I guess Zach really likes me.
Yeah, definitely a nicer apartment. Some of which has to do with just not having garbage all over the place. So maybe the flatmate becomes the bad guy?
Now there's no need to be judgmental about it. It's just a box of tissues.
Interesting second masturbation reference in the game. You don't get too many of those in video games unless you're playing adult video games, and even then. So, are we now combining this and this?
Nope.
Are we now combining this and
That's
this?
not gonna work.
Are we now combining this
That'll
and
work.
this?
But let's make some holes for legs first.
Alright, so we really are gonna have to just ruin this hat. Yeah, that's a shame.
Now, let's make 2 holes for
You
Bethany's
could
tiny
easily
legs.
have done that with a t-shirt. Or
Done.
a sweater or anything. This is the kind of thing that I also feel like
These kitchen towels should keep Bethany
is
dry.
gonna probably come back and bite you in the butt as
Perfect.
you're doing this not insanely crazy moon logic point and click adventure style gameplay where you're making makeshift diapers, but any real social services is going to look at that and say, why didn't you just go get the diapers from the other room? You're totally not responsible enough to take care of this baby even for a few hours, obviously. Let's see, well, I guess we just combine this too.
That's not it.
So I guess we're going to use the tissues. I mean, unless you're supposed to combine the tissues with the toilet.
I'll use these to clean Bethany up.
Okay. So, kind of nothing else that you can apparently use or deal with. Zach being fairly maternal. But yeah, his room obviously has a dresser and it obviously has some clothes. He didn't have to use the beanie.
He's actually quite good looking in his own weird way.
Let's talk to him.
Aw. You two look very cute.
Standing really awkwardly close.
And look, she stopped crying.
Yep.
You okay?
Yeah. Well, I am. But the smell is strong with this one.
I've got everything.
A Yoda reference.
Give it to me, Zach.
It would be surprising if this is implying that
One happy baby.
the creator of the Devil Came Through Here
It boggles
trilogy
my mind how such a cute little thing can
had-
produce so much stink.
had a baby and that maybe slowed down his development time.
This must be the cops.
But yeah, there's also, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be the father still alive. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they found that the father was missing completely and both bodies were missing. And that they had, like, the Queen of Maggots had perhaps. That was still a really long load. Yeah, if the Queen of Maggots had gotten rid of both bodies and left a message saying they ran away, that would be really, really nice of her. There is a creator of the Binding of Isaac series, who, through spending a lot of time adding more and more pieces of DLC to the Binding of Isaac series, did manage to have a daughter of his own. So that may slow down his production a little bit, but also I would say there was just so much content for the Binding of Isaac series anyways, which is another dark horror game, but more of a roguelike game, that I wouldn't be upset if he did take 3 or 4 years off and come out with a different type of product. He is getting kind of pigeonholed doing just Binding of Isaac type games, even though he's tried other types of games and they haven't sold as well. The Five Nights at Freddy's horror game series, that wasn't even supposed to be a horror game series originally, is in the exact same position where he had to basically ride the wave of success and put out sequel after sequel after sequel, and instead of polishing his craft as a game developer and doing something else.
It's Zach's front door.
They don't seem to have peepholes, so they can't look out and see who it is. Let's look through people. There is a people. Okay. That does look like a police officer.
Who is it?
Police, please open.
So, unless it's a bad guy, which in the Cat Lady you certainly had cases where you would have bad guys pop up out of nowhere and they would surprise you. I assume that that's not the
Evening
case.
to you both. I'm Officer Manley. I'm looking for Laura Wood.
That's me.
And the chap? He a boyfriend of yours?
Zach's my neighbor. Let's try and leave him out as much as possible.
Zach's my neighbor.
Okie dokie. So, you want to tell me what happened? And
Let's-
don't look so frightened. I'm here to help you, not shoot you.
Yeah, I don't think the
My mom
plainclothes.
hanged herself in the bathroom.
I don't think the
I'm real
plainclothes
sorry, Miss Wood.
police
And then John
end
came.
up shooting too many people. A lot of
Made fun
times
of
they
her
don't even have guns,
being dead.
or they
And
nowadays
who's
may
John?
have gone.
Her partner. He'd always been horrible and violent to her, but she never did anything to stop it.
I see. Carry on.
Well,
We're not
he
getting
attacked
any
me and Zach,
Prompts.
knocked us both unconscious. And when I woke up, I saw John running a bath full of water. He had my baby sister and he was going to drown her.
Jeez.
Hmm.
Why would he do that?
Let's see. I don't know. He's mad. He always hated her because he's a douchebag. Do we really know why? Did he always hate her? Do we know that? Do we tell the police he always hated her? So it'd be funny if it turned out he actually was running a bath to bathe her and was just drunk and was gonna bathe a baby in a full tub of water with the mother hanging next to him. That doesn't. Let's go with I don't know. He's mad. He's mad in at least the UK terminology of being mad drunk.
I really don't know. He's mad. You must be mad to try and kill a baby.
Right. Carry on.
We tried to stop him, of course. Then he fell over and knocked his head on the loo. I think he's dead. It looked nasty. I just grabbed the baby and ran here.
Where's the baby now?
She's in my room. She's fine.
Right. Good. Here's what we'll do. You, young man, will stay here and watch the baby. Miss Wood, you will follow me. We're gonna join up with my partner inside your flat. You okay with that?
I don't really want to go back there. But I guess there's nothing to be afraid of now.
It's either going to be funny when we join up and the father's still alive and he tells a completely different story. And the police, I don't know why the police would particularly side with a drunk guy.
Follow me.
So they definitely wanted you to see his house and see that giant TV in his house compared to the small fuzzy TV in your house. And they want to remind you about all this. Is there any reason to run the other direction? I mean, they let you do it, but can't go inside the other rooms. Where's your
There's
partner?
no one here, Miss Wood.
But that's impossible. She was here, hanged on the shower curtain.
You can see
Well,
blood on the
there's
toilet.
blood on the toilet.
That's where John hit his head. I told you.
Stay behind me, miss.
That was quite the jump scare. Stay behind him? Alright. This would be very convenient for her if it ends up
Let's move.
being a case where he shoots your stepfather, because then you're off the hook of killing him. Also, I saw his reflection there and it looks human.
Area clear. Let's move.
Interesting. To make
Let's
you
check
walk
the
in
bedroom.
walk in certain areas. Seriously, you're gonna make me.
Parents' room. Did the shots come from there?
He's not gonna go first. Like, it feels really ridiculous that he's telling you to stay behind him when you should have said stay in this room.
Gibbs!
Interesting. So. Wow. I guess we know who the bad guy is, and unless there was something at the very beginning of the first chapter that would have turned the bad guy into your mother, it seems like he is much more of a killer than it seemed. Like, to take out a cop, to clean up after a murder, to still survive. It feels like there is some entity bringing him back to life as much as the Queen of Maggots is bringing you back to life. I wouldn't be surprised if the Queen of Maggots is really just bringing a whole bunch of people back alive to seek her own goal. Because it pretty much seemed like the Queen of Maggots also created all the bad guys that the cat lady was fighting. At the end of the cat lady, you almost could have taken it that the whole Queen of Maggots imagery and all of the scary stuff was just happening in the head of the main character, but now you clearly know that's not the case. The only thing I really don't like is, if you're going to call this the Devil Came Through Here trilogy, there is a really nice independent visual novel called The Devil Among Us, I believe is the name of it, or The Devil We Know. I can't remember the exact name of it. And I did want to cover that at some point. And those two trilogy names are, well, the indie game did as one game, and this The Devil Came Through a trilogy is a little too close. Yeah, also, I would say, like, I think the Devil Rejects movie series adds some more confusion there too. So our body was left out, and now we've got some more gameplay. So do we want to play a little bit longer? I guess we will.
Why are these mannequins following me everywhere?
Let's see. Look at the doll's head. There's a
Why are these mannequins following me everywhere?
Look at the doll's hand. Take this. Miranda Gold. Was Miranda not the name of the coworker? Is this a case that there was no Miranda, there were no coworkers, there was no job?
Isn't it the brand that Mum used to smoke?
Is this whole thing just a dream?
Roseberry Lane.
Can't go any further this way, but apparently you can use the building. A lot of things you can use that you just look at, which honestly that's not a bad idea. There's so many point and click adventure type games where you examine an item or you have to use an item and it will just say I can't do that, there's nothing to do with that. So instead of giving a negative verbal response, it is nice to just say you will at some point be able to use an item with this, but just using it on its own doesn't do anything, so it just turns into a panning shot, which these panning shots could be just a simple function that's programmed, well, relatively simple function that's programmed, that you don't have to put any custom code into, something that regardless of what actual object you're interacting with, it will do about the same.
Oh, Bethany. My dear little sister.
So, would the father have gone and shot, or would the stepfather have gone and shot Zach and gotten the baby, or shot the baby again? That's the next question. Or did Zach take Bethany when he heard the gunshots, which he should have been able to hear, and protect her? Here we can see there are several graves here, and one of which is holding the dress I'm wearing, although it's a little more tattered.
There's a black cross on it, with stripes of red fabric wrapped around it.
Okay, so we're gonna have to
What
move
a tiny little coffin.
We're gonna have to put clothing on different graves.
I've seen that silly hat before.
So there's a grave for you, there's a grave for your little sister, there's a grave for Zach, and then
This cross has a noose hanging from it.
a grave for your mother. And we're getting towards the edge of this.
It looks like some sort of toy.
Interesting. This is an attempt at seemingly more gameplay interaction. We have a railroad that seems to go to a rock, and a railroad that seems to go to a train, a house. Let's go over here.
That's Zach's umbrella. What is it doing here?
Okay. So,
It looks like some sort of toy.
we'll swap this, hit the button, press the button, and then look, see what's changed. Clearly something has changed.
Who are you?
Some kind of gargoyle. And he is dropped a rose, and he's dropped a toy.
Gift from a stranger. But why?
So is that stranger supposed to be Zach, or is that stranger supposed to be your father, your biological father? The grass sound effect, I think here you could have done some more polish to kind of program it to only play that sound after a few seconds instead of it being constantly looped. And having perhaps 2 or 3 walking on grass sound effects would have been helpful also. Let's examine everything.
So tiny. Zach stayed up all night just to give me this umbrella. Or maybe he was just watching Netflix.
See, now the reference to Netflix particularly then puts this way in a weird timeline. There are a lot of references they're making to things that would not have existed in the time that this should be occurring. And I guess there's a danger these days more than ever about making references to things at all.
It's the same kind I wear in my hair. Looks like one of Bethany's wooden toys.
Bethany probably is old enough for a wooden toy. Okay. So this is an awkward experience to say the least. I feel like we are gonna need more items. Like, let's see, Zach's umbrella. Use. Put that on that grave. Your mother used these cigarettes, so put that on her grave. Put that on that grave. And it seems like it's not activating anything. And use that on that grave. So there was like a mannequin hand or something holding a key. See, in normal games you usually do have to animate this kind of stuff also. It's just usually it's not so obvious that someone has taken that special effort to make a custom animation because they try to usually make the cutscenes look very similar to the gameplay. That's not the case here, and I'm glad for it. Now, if they were going to make a new series of games and they wanted to be a horror game, maybe they don't have to be flat 2D animation style by any means, but like Hellblade: Sesuna's Sacrifice, for instance, is a great example of that. But it probably saves a lot on budget, and it certainly was the only thing that the creator of this series could do when he made the Cat Lady and Downfall originally. So I'm glad he didn't hold himself back because he just didn't have the 3D modeling and animation skills that you might want to see in a AAA game. And honestly, telling a different type of story and making a different type of game collaborates very nicely with the idea of having a flatter 2D adventure game. And it is a nice throwback to old 2D point-and-click adventure games, which are mostly comedies. There's very few horror point-and-click adventure games. So even that was kind of a unique concept.
I wonder what it's for.
Right, well, look at the doll's head. Use the key in the doll's head. And inside of it we've got a
Why
toy
are these
train.
mannequins following me everywhere?
I didn't think we were going to get the same prompt there. I feel like the mannequins are supposed to represent perhaps friends that Lorelai had and has forgotten about, or people that could be positive influences in her life. All of those items have now disappeared, by the way. Or perhaps they are supposed to represent alternate lives that Lorelai could have lived if she'd made different decisions. Or just the people playing this game right
Looks
now.
like some sort of toy.
Let's see. Let's examine
Looks
it.
like one of Bethany's wooden toys.
Kind of the same prompts. There we go. Well, that locked it into place. So we hit this, and now the train is going to crash into the building. I don't know if that was a good action or a bad action, or if that was just something that had to happen. You still can't walk any further this direction. So did we hurt the person who gave us the toy, the gift from the stranger, to get our own goal? You can see the smoke is hiding things. Seems like we keep hurting mannequins too.
Nice job, Lorelai.
You know me? Who are you?
The name's Jimmy. Jimmy the Traveler. And now
Interesting.
that you've opened the way, there's one place I'd like to show you.
So
We can
Jimmy
talk
the
as we go.
Traveler
It's quite a trek, but
is
it's worth it.
apparently maybe
before you
the
ask,
good guy.
Yes, you can trust me.
That's what that old hag said, too.
Did she?
Oh, she says a lot of things, but believe me, I am no friend of hers.
That still doesn't make you a friend of mine.
Sure, but what if I told you I found a way to destroy her? To end this nightmare once and for all and send us both back to the real world?
Then I'd listen to you very carefully.
Let's go then. It'll get dark soon.
It feels like to me you should have probably established the idea of working for the Queen of Maggots and that being your goal in the game much earlier, particularly if you're going to have this twist where Jimmy the Traveler is going to now be introduced, and wouldn't it be crazy if it turns out he's the devil and he's upset with the Queen of Maggots for interfering with him? Let's ask things about him. Seems like this is just going to keep on going, although maybe it doesn't go on forever.
You want to tell me something about yourself?
We're back in
I mean,
silhouette.
Jimmy the Traveler doesn't quite explain why you're here with me. In the afterlife.
You did help without asking anything.
I travel in my sleep.
Okay,
Always have.
cool.
What?
Look, it used to be fun. I went to different places every night. At first I thought they were just dreams. Not real. But no. My body stayed in bed, but my mind, my spirit, or whatever, they were set free.
So that
In my sleep,
seems
I
to
was a
imply
ghost.
he's not some
Everything I saw happened somewhere.
godlike
To
character.
someone. Then one night, I traveled here. And I
This is
can't wake
another
up
place
since.
where the walking on grass sound effect is
So,
getting played
if you're
too
the good
loud
guy-
and too often.
And she's evil.
Hmm.
Then why did she bring me back to life?
Hmm.
Because, that was kinda awesome.
It's all part of the game she's playing.
Hmm.
She knew you'd die again, and that you will have no choice but to do what she asks.
Her arms are
Trust me.
swinging too much
Everything
Or-
she does comes with a price.
as she's walking for the attitude in this
Anyway, I don't want to try to convince you.
s-
You'll know when you see
Scene.
the real her.
Yeah, maybe. But when will I see the real you?
The real me? Well, he's fast asleep in bed. Back in the real world.
He's
And if
probably
he doesn't
not.
wake up anytime soon, he'll most certainly die.
So, where are we going?
The tunnel.
This is
That's where the devil came from.
such a nice
Devil?
story
You mean the Queen of Maggots?
to tell. It
If you
feels
prefer.
so much like a
She
movie
has many names,
compared to
but names are just names.
most
They don't
video
really
game
matter.
stories where it's very short and straightforward.
What other names does she have?
People that come through here always want to know. And every time she gives a different answer. Actually, it's funny, but I even heard her using the name Lorelai once.
Interesting.
What's in the tunnel?
That's where the real Queen of Maggots is, and has been since the dawn of time. The old woman is just a puppet,
And her little house by the field?
not real.
It felt very real to me.
Sure. But
It's
trust
a
me,
very dark game
it's just a dream within a dream.
visually, but I can't really hate it. Let's just keep asking questions. Obviously, we want to know the answers here as the player. But yeah, Lorelai should not be swinging her hands back and forth so flippantly. But if you were playing Lorelai as a flippant, childish, character, that would make a lot more sense. There clearly is two different ways you can play Lorelai.
That real Queen of Maggots. What's she like?
You'll see soon enough.
I'm not really sure if I want to.
No, nobody wants to. But now that you're here, this is your only chance to win her wicked little game.
How?
By killing her. Once and for all.
Yeah, he wants you to kill something. How can we kill something that doesn't even exist? I mean, the woman may seem friendly, but she hasn't fooled me. I don't want to kill her. Do we want to kill anyone? No.
I don't want to kill her. She's kinda nice. Made me a meal when I was hungry.
I know, Lorelai. But you have to realize that she only did that to gain your trust. She is not human. And if you don't do this now, she will take away all humanity you've got left in you, too.
But killing her? How can we even do this?
I made a bomb.
A bomb?
Yeah, it's weak to fire.
Oh, I don't know, Jimmy. Not a big fan of bombs. What if I say no?
Then you will forever be her slave.
This would be surprising
just
if this
like
is
others
the
before you.
end of the game. That would feel a little too abrupt.
We are here. Take this with you. Here's the bomb and a lighter to light the fuse.
So Jimmy
Wait.
wants you to kill
Are
somebody.
you not going in with me?
No. I wish I could. But I am not allowed to enter the tunnel.
Jimmy
not?
sounds like he's bad.
she'd sniff me out in an instant. I'm not dead like you. I'm only sleeping.
So we got the zoom in, and I think that is probably the best place to end this recording. Yeah, interesting story still. We're going in very different directions than what you would typically expect or see in a video game. We are in a weird position certainly too, where even though we've seen the Queen of Maggots before in the Cat Lady, I'm not 100% sure she really is the bad guy. She comes off more just as like a Cthulhu-esque old god of sorts that's just ununderstandable and doesn't really even care about people one way or the other most of the time. So I'm not sure she's really evil, and even if she is really evil, if she's been around since the beginning of time, she may be a necessary evil of sorts, whereas Jimmy is setting you up to fail miserably, and at best you set off the bomb and blow yourself up and the Queen of Maggots up. At worst, he turns out to be a puppet of the Queen of Maggots and this is just a test, or he turns out to be the bad guy. It doesn't feel like Jimmy has the ability to bring back Zach to life if he did die when he was hit on the head. It would also be very weird if the rest of the story in the real world and being alive is just going to be you coming back to life and trying to kill your stepfather again a second time, maybe even the third time, until finally getting it right. That way Bethany is safe, because clearly at this point we have evidence, the total evidence, that the stepfather is not just actively trying to escape, he's actively trying to hunt down and kill everybody, and we don't really have a good reason for that. Like, this feels more than just, oh, he's drunk and desperate. It seems like he had perhaps figured out some kind of plan and is now trying to implement it. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.